it is important to teach vulnerability. I think we do that through example, leading by example, and also through educating and telling our children it's okay to be vulnerable. But I think what's even more important is I think men, we need to do a better job of being in tune with our emotions and being aware of our emotions and not just being aware of our emotions, but having a heightened level of intuition about it's one thing to be aware of your emotions. It's another thing to know when I feel something, what is that really telling me about? What is that signaling to me? If our emotions are tools, right? I tell my clients, our emotions are tools to inform us about our experience, but capital BUT, not dictate our behavior. So, I think we as men need to do a better job of being aware, taking ownership of the emotions that we're feeling, and but also being able to, I think the word I'm thinking of is being able to have a refined articulation about how we're feeling, why we're feeling it, and where it might come from. And that's me alluding to just the idea of increased emotional intelligence, really, increasing our EQ. I think that men tend to deny they are aware that they are experiencing something, but we deny emotions because we're just trained to ignore our emotions. Just a weird that's a major phenomena that I think doesn't get talked about enough. Is men feel emotions and then we are like trained to deny it and ignore it. And when there are negative emotions like anger or sadness, we almost don't even know we almost don't even know how to process it because we spent a majority of our lives ignoring it in some type of way. I agree that teaching vulnerability is important. I think that emotional awareness and emotional articulation is probably an even stronger form of vulnerability that is necessary in order to even get to a place of vulnerability. And I give you, I mean, one of my favorite examples is when we look at the emotion of anger, right, or irritation or frustration. I think a lot of men ignore that voice in them, even though even though they may be reacting off of it. And how do I know that? Because one of the things that I train a lot of men on is to be a little bit more attentive when we are speaking under the emotion. Be a little more attentive in the language that we use that is connected to the emotion of anger and frustration. I mean, there's a huge disconnect there in society where men communicate with anger and frustration, and they don't even know that they've already started to communicate with that irritation, frustration, being emotionally aware, emotionally sensitive, on top of being emotionally vulnerable are probably the two top things. When a man is educated on knowing when he gets angry, this is how I sound. These are the words I use. And understanding, man, this anger may come from my childhood that I didn't even know came there. That when I get angry or triggered, I'm trying to solve the past in the present.